Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're journeying into a topic that, well, it's fascinated thinkers for millennia.
Yeah.
The Bardo, the intermediate states between life and rebirth, as taught in the rich traditions of Tibetan Buddhism. Our compass for this deep dive comes from some incredibly detailed ancient teachings by the very venerable Khenchen Thrangu Rinpoche, specifically his work, Journey of the Mind. Our mission isn't just to explain these really profound concepts, but maybe to pull out the most potent practical insights, give you a fresh perspective, and hopefully some truly unexpected aha moments about your own mind.
And what's really remarkable here, I think, is how these teachings, which can often seem quite, esoteric, they actually provide highly practical instructions for navigating something universal death and the states beyond it. It's really about empowering you, giving you tools to take control, not just at the moment of transition, but like starting right now in this very life.
Right. That's such a crucial point. The idea that our present life fundamentally sculpts our experience of death. It really tones the concept of preparing for death on its head, doesn't it?
It really does.
So we'll explore the 4 distinct Bardos and see exactly how to prepare for each one.
Yeah.
Okay, so our journey into the Bardos, it really begins right here, right now, and what the teachings call the natural Bardo between birth and death. It sounds so ordinary, doesn't it? Just life. But why is this seemingly everyday period considered an intermediate state? And why is it so incredibly crucial for everything that follows?
Well, this brings up a really critical point. This whole period, from your birth right up until your death, this is your primary opportunity. It's the main time you have to practice and prepare for everything else that comes. It's unique because your mind is, well, it's physically grounded, embodied. And that offers a kind of stability that simply won't be available in the later intermediate states.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. And here's where these teachings offer, I think, a really profound shift in perspective. Our meditation practice in this life isn't just about general well-being, like feeling calmer or something. It becomes incredibly potent, almost like a targeted medicine, when it's consciously applied as a remedy to specific kleshas.
Yeah.
Those particular negative emotions like anger, maybe stubborn attachment, or that gnawing jealousy, the things that muddy our experience.
Precisely. The real power of your meditation practice isn't just in the technique itself, although that's important. It's the intention you bring to it. If your intention is to apply the meditation directly as an antidote to a particular klesha,
Like zeroing in on it.
exactly, zeroing in, then it becomes remarkably effective. This focused effort helps to weaken those emotional habits right now in this life, which makes them far less overwhelming, less disorienting, when they inevitably arise in the bardo after death.
Okay, so what does this actually look like in practice? Beyond just, calming the mind generally. Specific types of meditation actually train us for the very conditions of the Bardo. It's like a mental fitness regimen for your future self.
That's a good way to put it.
So first there's shamatha, or tranquility meditation. This isn't just about finding inner peace, lovely as that is. It actively builds mental stability. Imagine like trying to navigate a ship in a huge storm that's kind of your mind after death, incredibly unstable. Shamatha is the practice that gives you a stable rudder, so you're not just tossed around aimlessly.
That stability is fundamental.
Then we have generation stage practices. Things like visualizing deities, Avalokiteshvara or Amitabha or common examples. This trains you to recognize all appearances, even divine ones or things that seem totally external, as actually just projections of your own mind.
Which is key.
Right.
Right.
It's a powerful defense against terror when all sorts of diverse, sometimes awe-inspiring or even frightening appearances arise in the Bardo.
Because you've practiced seeing through appearance.
Exactly. And finally, completion stage. This is often called insight or vipassana. This focuses right on the very nature of your own mind, revealing its emptiness, its lack of substantial, independent existence. When you directly perceive this, and it's not about belief, it's a direct, undeniable observation. It frees you from the panic and fear caused by your mind's own appearances in the Bardo. As the teachings say, anytime you care to look at your mind, you will see this right away. It's accessible.
It is. It's not some far-off mystical thing, and that's a fantastic breakdown of the formal practices. But what's crucial to remember, building on that, is that the preparation extends even beyond the meditation cushion.
Into post-meditation.
Daily life. Yes, exactly. Our everyday activities like eating, walking, talking, it's vital to maintain mindfulness, alertness, and carefulness. Mindfulness means having a clear intention for your actions. Alertness is noticing if you're actually staying true to that intention. And carefulness helps prevent slipping into unhelpful or negative actions. This continuous cultivation of positive habits, body, speech, mind, strengthens your ability to navigate the Bardo positively because these ingrained habits, they actually carry through.
Okay, that's powerful. So habits now really echo later.
Absolutely.
So from the relative stability of this life, our journey moves now to a really profound threshold, the bardo of the time of death.
Hmm.
This is that intense period from when a fatal condition starts, right up until the precise moment your mind and body actually separate. It's often called the bardo of suffering or misery.
Yes. And one absolutely crucial insight here is that fear, pure fear, at the time of death, it's just not helpful. Instead, a kind of calm confidence may be stemming from a deep understanding that death is natural, it's universal, that provides profound stability. You might even tell yourself, I am not alone in this. Everyone goes through this. That sense of shared experience can be incredibly grounding.
That's a helpful reframe. Now, this is where the teachings get incredibly detailed and maybe for some quite startling. As you approach death, there's this vivid dissolution process. The 5 elements that make up your body, earth, water, fire, air, and consciousness, they dissolve in sequence. And what's truly remarkable is that each stage brings specific internal experiences in these secret appearances, sensations and visions unique to that moment. So imagine this profound internal shift. As earth dissolves into water, you might feel your body getting heavy, sinking, maybe melting, and internally a shimmering mirage appears like heat haze on a road.
Right.
Then, as water dissolves into fire, you might feel cold, intensely hot, and internally you see this thick, heavy smoke.
Like smoke shilling a room.
Yeah, and as fire gives way to air, maybe a feeling of being scattered, blown apart, and internally, this dazzling flurry of fireflies or sparks.
Still points of light.
And finally, as air dissolves into consciousness, a sense of the breath stopping, and internally, a clear, steady lamp flame emerges, like pure awareness itself, just before it merges.
It's incredibly specific. And if we step back for a moment, connect this to the bigger picture, as these coarse and subtle elements dissolve, eventually those 80 different types of conceptuality, all those thoughts tied up with anger, desire, bewilderment, they just cease. They stop.
All thought stops.
For a moment, yes. This moment when all conceptuality just stops is described as a huge opportunity for liberation, especially for those who've trained their mind. It's why Padampa Sanjay famously said, death is not death for the yogi or yogini, it is Buddhahood. That potential is right there.
Wow. Okay, so given that powerful dissolution and the potential there, how do you actually prepare for it? Especially concerning those kleshas, those negative emotions that are our biggest obstacles. The teachings offer 3 remarkably practical approaches to weaken them now.
They do. Very practical.
First, distancing. This involves really recognizing the klesha in you, seeing it clearly. Then honestly reflecting on the harm it causes to yourself, to others. This creates a crucial sense of space, doesn't it? Makes it easier to just let it go.
That distance is key. You're not identifying with it so strongly.
Second, direct attack. Or maybe using meditation as a specific remedy. Here, you focus your meditation practice with the explicit intention that it specifically counters your strongest klesha, like we mentioned before.
Yes. So, for instance, in a Vajrasattva practice, you might visualize purifying ambrosia, that light, specifically washing away, say, jealousy or aggression. You make it very targeted.
Got it. And third, eradication, which involves direct perception. This sounds intense.
It's about looking directly at the klesha itself right as it arises.
How did that work?
Well, say for anger, you might ask yourself, really inquire, where exactly is this anger? Does it have a shape? Does it have a color? A specific location in my body? And experientially, through looking, you discover it has no solid, substantial existence. It's not a thing. And that direct seeing causes it to just dissolve like a phantom caught in the light.
It loses its power when you look straight at it.
Precisely. It can't sustain itself under direct investigation. And this also raises a very practical question, who should actually be with you when you're dying?
Right. The environment matters.
Hugely. The instructions emphasize choosing companions who are positive, who are tranquil, stable, and critically, they should avoid agitating you. No discussions about possessions or old disputes or things like that.
Why is that so important right then?
Because your state of mind at the moment of death can significantly steer your consciousness, your direction, right after the transition. A positive, peaceful state is immensely beneficial. It really underscores the profound impact of our final thoughts in the environment.
Wow. Okay, so moving beyond that moment of death, you enter the next phase, the luminous Bardo of Dharmata. This is described as an interval without confusion, where the profound nature of reality itself, the ground luminosity, shines through, freed from all the usual distractions of life.
That's right. And the duration of this incredibly precious experience, it depends entirely on your meditation training in this life. It's often measured in meditation days, which is an interesting concept.
How does that work?
Well, roughly, if you can rest your mind completely undistracted for even 1 hour in this life through your practice, your experience of the Bardo of Dharmata might last for something like 5 hours. It's amplified.
Oh, interesting.
But for someone with essentially no meditation training, it might just flash by in an instant, utterly unrecognized, a bit like falling asleep without remembering that moment you drifted off.
Just missed it.
Okay.
What's truly astonishing here, the teaching says, is that all the appearances we normally experience, everything we perceive are, from this ultimate perspective, essentially confused projections.
Mm-hmm. Based on ignorance of their true nature.
Right. But in this Bardo, because the conditions for both the previous life's appearances and the next life's appearances are temporarily absent, there's this clear, unburdened space. This allows for a direct experience of the true nature of everything, what's called emptiness or dharmata.
Dharmata, that fundamental isness or essential nature of things, stripped bare of all our usual mental labels and projections.
Exactly. And the key to liberation right here is recognition of this true nature. An event often beautifully described as the meeting of mother and child.
Yes, the mother luminosity, which is the ground, the fundamental nature.
Meeting the child luminosity, which is your cultivated meditative experience of it from practice.
Precisely. They recognize each other and merge. That's liberation in that moment.
Beautiful. So how do we prepare for that recognition here in life?
The teachings outline 2 main paths, generally speaking. First, inferential valid cognition. This involves using rigorous logical reasoning, deep study, really thinking things through, to conceptually understand that all things lack inherent independent existence. Selflessness. This intellectual certainty builds a vital foundation. It convinces the analytical mind.
Okay, so reasoning it out.
Mm-hmm. Second, and perhaps more profoundly, is direct, valid cognition. This is about directly experiencing the nature of your own mind. When you look at your mind directly, as the texts say, you discover through personal, undeniable realization that it has no substantial existence. It's not just a belief you adopt, it's a direct observation, like realizing the monster in the corner is just a coat on a chair. The emptiness of the monster becomes obvious.
So it's not a concept anymore, it's something you see for yourself.
Exactly. And the teachings assure us it is not something that is in any way difficult to discover. It's always available.
Okay, and just when you think you've grasped that, the Bardo of Dharmata reveals a second, really dramatic phase, where spontaneous appearances burst forth. Peaceful and wrathful deities, brilliant, maybe overwhelming light sounds like 1,000 thunderclaps all at once.
Yes, it can sound terrifying.
It does, but the key is it's only terrifying if you mistake them for external threats.
Right? Precisely why preparation is so critical. These deities, these appearances, they are not external beings attacking you. They are actually an unimpeded display of dharmata, the enlightened potential inherently present within your own subtle body, your own mind stream. They appear even to those completely unfamiliar with them.
So they arise naturally from within.
Yes. And practicing visualization, for example, of the 100 peaceful and wrathful deities within your own body, this is often linked to practices like the Vajrasattva mantra. It familiarizes you with them. So when they arise in the Bardo, you recognize them. This is my own display. This is part of my own potential. And you aren't terrified. You see their essence.
And the essence of all those 100 deities is said to be Vajrasattva himself, right?
That's the teaching, yes. A unifying principle behind the diversity.
Wow, okay. The teachings also offer these incredibly powerful, taking the Bardo on the path techniques for this life, ways to practice recognition in our daily experience.
Yes, bringing the Bardo into the now.
For example, taking light on the path. You close your eyes tightly, press gently, until you see that empty light of Dharmata light that doesn't have a physical source, just luminous patterns.
Practicing with inner light.
Or taking sound on the path.
Wow.
Clamp your teeth lightly, block your ears maybe, and listen intently until you hear the empty sound of Dharmata, that subtle ringing hum that doesn't seem to come from anywhere outside.
Tuning into inner sound.
Then, taking pain on the path. This sounds challenging. You pinch yourself, maybe you start gently, and look directly into the essence of the pain itself.
What happens?
The teaching says the sensation remains. but the suffering, the mental story, the anguish about the pain that vanishes. You start mild, obviously, and build up the capacity to just observe sensation.
Interesting. Separating sensation from suffering.
Yeah, and taking joy and misery on the path.
Right.
Same principle. Scrutinizing these powerful emotions directly to see their insubstantiality, just like looking for anger.
Because getting swept away by either is the root of samsara, isn't it?
Exactly. The teachings warn that becoming intoxicated with happiness or misery is the very root of continuous suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, taking kleshas on the path, similar to that eradication technique we talked about. Directly observing negative emotions as they arise, until they just subside or dissolve by recognizing their lack of solid existence. As the great Mahasiddhas explained, the angry mind itself is clear awareness. When that awareness looks at the anger, the disturbance just dissolves.
So these are all ways to practice non-reactivity and recognition right now.
Exactly. Training for the main event, as it were. Okay, finally. If that ground luminosity in the Bardo of Dharmata isn't recognized, if the meeting doesn't happen, you then reawaken, is the term used, into the Bardo of becoming. This is where the confused appearances and those familiar kleshas come back, and the search for a new rebirth begins.
That's right. And here, your consciousness inhabits a kind of mental body. It's not physical, but it's capable of astonishing things. It possesses what's called karmically produced miraculous ability. It allows you to pass unimpeded through solid objects, walls, mountains, anything.
Like a ghost in the movies?
Sort of, but it's a product of mind and karma. And it also has karmically produced extrasensory perception. This means you might become aware of the thoughts of others, particularly those you loved or were connected to in your previous life.
Oh, wow. That could be difficult.
It could be incredibly difficult. This raises an important point. Imagine the immense suffering if you were to visit your relatives, maybe drawn by attachment, and you perceive them being deceitful or greedy about your possessions or fighting over them.
That would be
It's
agonizing.
terribly agonizing and could generate strong negative states right when you need positivity. So for those left behind, it's profoundly important to think of the deceased with love, generosity, dedicating merit. Those thoughts genuinely affect the being in the Bardo.
That's a really practical takeaway for how we treat grief and remembrance.
It is.
So in this Bardo of becoming, you encounter different paths, right? Lights.
Yes, typically described as two types of paths manifesting as light. There are brilliant light paths which lead towards pure realms, liberation. And then there are dull but familiar light paths associated with the 6 realms of samsara that lead back into the cycle of suffering.
And your preferences, your habits cultivated now, powerfully dictate which path you're drawn to then.
Absolutely. If we connect this to the bigger picture again, it's vital to cultivate genuine enthusiasm for pure appearances in this life. Things like meditating on deities, aspiring to pure realms, cultivating virtuous qualities, and simultaneously to consciously lessen your attachment to impure appearances, meaning your ordinary possessions, wealth, status, even strong attachments to loved ones, by continually reflecting on their impermanence. They won't last.
So you're training your attraction towards the liberating paths.
Exactly. This conscious cultivation prepares you to choose or be drawn towards the brilliant liberating paths when they appear, rather than the dull, familiar ones of samsara.
Now, you mentioned the mind is unstable after death. Is it still unstable here in the Bardo of becoming?
Oh, yes. Incredibly unstable, perhaps even more so in some ways, making it prone to intense hallucinations, swayed by the winds of karma.
So that shamatha practice we talked about.
Crucial, absolutely crucial again here. The mental stability cultivated through shamatha in this life is what gives you some measure of control, some ability to stay centered amidst the psychic turbulence.
And what's truly fascinating here, the teachings say, is the virtuous states of mind, things like profound devotion or deep compassion or meditative absorptions.
Yeah.
They become much more powerful in the Bardo than they are in life. Is that right?
Yes, significantly more powerful. Your thoughts have an almost immediate effect. Because you're in a mental body, intention manifests much more directly and potently. A moment of strong compassion or devotion can have huge positive consequences.
So little goes a long way then.
A little positive intention or habit can go a very long way, yes. Your ability to navigate this Bardo, therefore, hinges directly on the momentum of your habits, positive and negative, and the strength of your intention forged in this life. If you resolve now, sincerely, I will practice, I will try to recognize these states in the Bardo, That powerful resolve carries through. It acts like a rudder.
Like setting an alarm clock for your mind.
Kind of, yeah. Or like
Yeah.
resolving to recognize a dream as a dream while you're dreaming lucid dreaming practice. That intention, planted firmly now, can surface right when needed.
Okay. And the ultimate goal here, for many navigating this Bardo, is to consciously choose a favorable rebirth, isn't it? To avoid just being swept along.
That's often the immediate goal if liberation wasn't achieved earlier, yes. And this bardo is often powerfully driven by instinctual drives, particularly a strong sexual desire or impulse, an attraction or aversion towards the sight of parents copulating, which draws the consciousness towards the sperm and ovum.
Which sounds very Freudian, almost, but it's described quite explicitly.
Very explicitly. And so cultivating moral discipline in this life, things like observing celibacy if appropriate or general sexual morality based on avoiding harm, this helps you maintain a higher level of mindfulness and carefulness even then. It allows you to slow down that impulsive rush, to perceive the situation more clearly, and ideally to consciously choose your next birthplace rather than being propelled into an unfortunate one by unchecked desire or aversion.
So ethical conduct now has a direct impact on your ability to choose wisely then.
A very direct impact on your clarity and self-control at that critical juncture.
Wow. Okay, so stepping back from all this detail, what does this all mean for you, for the listener, here and now?
Yeah.
This deep dive into the bardos, from the natural bardo of this very life, through death, dharmata, and becoming. It's clearly not just some theoretical exercise, is it?
Not at all.
It feels like a profound roadmap for conscious living and ultimately conscious dying.
Absolutely. If you step back for that bigger picture view, the core message, I think, is really one of empowerment. By understanding how your mind, your intentions, your habits are shaping your experience right now, you gain this extraordinary ability to influence, maybe even determine your experience in the intermediate states and beyond. It's about actively, consciously cultivating positive states of mind, weakening those kleshas, those negative patterns, and really familiarizing yourself with the profound true nature of reality itself, starting now.
It really is about, as the texts sometimes say, making a good job of the journey through the bardo.
Making the best possible journey.
And as the teachings suggest, even merely hearing this information, just taking it in, creates a positive imprint. It can immensely reduce future suffering because maybe, just maybe, you might recall some of it when you're actually in the bardo and think, oh, wait a second, I've heard about this before. This isn't totally alien.
That recognition, even just a flicker, can be incredibly beneficial.
So for your ongoing exploration, maybe something to ponder, consider this. If the entire experience of the bardo, including the appearance of terrifying deities, brilliant pure realms, all of it is ultimately described as a spontaneous display inherent within your own mind. What does that imply about the nature of the reality we perceive right now, this solid-seeming world in this very moment? Something to ponder until our next deep dive.